Good morning, YouTube people. It's a beautiful early morning here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And by beautiful early morning, of course, I mean there's snow everywhere, it's cold, and I just want to go back to sleep. So I wanted to do a different kind of a video today. I'm gonna do basically some vlogging for the day. First, I gotta open the store up though. I've had a few things happen with the 97 that I wanted to document, and I didn't really have a good way to put into a video. And on top of that, I'm having the windshield in it replaced today, but that's a hard thing to do a whole video on because I'm not doing it myself. I don't have the equipment nor the expertise to take on that one right now by myself. So I'm having Safelite do it, but I wanted to still get that documented for you guys. So what I plan to do is I'm gonna pretty much just vlog this entire day, and all this will be going on during a normal work day for me. And I'll try to show you some of the things going on with 97. I'm going to try to show you a little bit of the windshield replacement, and then the heads-up display in the car is a little funky, so I wanted to take that out since the windshield is being replaced anyway, and show you guys what I'm going to do there also. But I've got to get everything turned on and get this store warmed up a little bit, and I will check back in a few minutes. So now that I've got everything turned on, before I have to deal with customers or anything, I'm going to go yank the heads-up display out of my car. The first thing I've got to remove is the plastic piece at the base of the windshield. This is not difficult. You really only need pretty much some stuff to pry with. So let me show you that. One tip that I do have here is to take these little sensors out first, because I have found that they are pretty hard to remove while removing the others. But if you just pop them out like that, leave the wiring there and take this out first, then that gets it out of the way. And the rest of this is pretty much just getting something under this enough to pop it up, because it's just held in with clips. But this piece is kind of fragile, so take your time, pry a little piece at a time until it all comes loose before you go yanking. Another tip is don't pry against the dash if your dash is old and really hard, or you're going to wind up with this everywhere. This came from something else, but just as an example, these things are pretty fragile when they get old. Now, if you look from the outside, you can see the heads-up display unit sitting here, which is held in by two little, I believe those are either 8 or 10 millimeter socket or bolts, and then this one electrical connector you'll have to pull off. And I was way off. Those bolts are 7s actually, not 8s or 10s. What I use is a 7 millimeter swivel socket on a long 1/4 inch extension, which gets to those bolts pretty well. Then you're just going to reach in, unhook it or break it. The old plastic sucks. Unplug that, leave that plug down there, and pull those bolts out. Then once that's out, you just unpop these front clips by pulling straight up, and the entire unit will come out in one piece. Okay, so now that this is out of the car and in here, the first thing you can notice right away is this thing is completely filthy. This collects a lot of dust and can actually make the heads-up display not as bright. So one of the first things that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this whole housing. Once I wiped off the outside, I just removed this lens. This is in here basically like this. There's a little tab that you push down, and the entire thing slides sideways and pops up. So that's how you remove that. I'm gonna take this and clean it really, really well, because it's pretty streaked up and stuff at the moment, just with regular glass cleaner. Then we're gonna get in here, because if you look at the inside, it's collected quite a bit of dirt too, and the mirror is dirty. The way these work, essentially, you have a circuit board in here with a little projector in here, which that light gets shined off of this mirror onto your windshield. Then the little adjustment button basically tilts this mirror, which moves where it is on the windshield. But a couple problems that you run into with these pretty regularly is either the spring that holds it back popping out, which we'll look at that in a minute, and then sometimes they'll actually pop completely out to where one side of the mirror is not attached. So I'm going to clean this. Then we're going to take these screws out of the top so we can pull this top off. So if you're following along at home, there are 4 screws you have to remove to get to this next piece, and it is a T15 Torx bit that removes those. Once all of those are out, this entire plastic top piece just pulls off. You can set it out of the way. Then you can see all of the inner workings. Here you see the connector on the outside. This is the circuit board that actually does everything. There's your ribbon connector for that, and way down there, there's actually the little screen, which you can see it projects it onto here. This mirror reflects it to this mirror, and that mirror reflects it to the windshield. It's kind of a long roundabout way to get there, but I mean, it gets there. Now, if you have a situation where your heads-up display is fading in and out, or sometimes doesn't work, sometimes does work, that problem is usually under this circuit board. All you have to do to remove this circuit board is pull these little tabs back right here, and then undo this ribbon cable, and it'll pop up. There is on the bottom side of this a joint that tends to become unsoldered. If you look, you'll probably see it's one of the larger ones. It's round. If you resolder that, it'll solve that problem. I don't need to do that right now, so I don't want to disturb it. For the sake of this video, what I'm doing is this. So the next thing I'm going to do is clean both of these mirrors. I'm going to look at this bigger one. That's what actually tilts it. And I'm going to get all this crud out of here too. You can see here how much that mirror shined up. I mean, it seriously had a lot of dust and stuff on it. I also took a blower with this small tip so that I didn't get too much air. Blew out all of the electronics, all of the grooves here, got all that out. You'd be surprised how big a difference this makes in the projection quality, because obviously if these mirrors get good and dusty and nasty, they're not going to reflect the light very well, and that's going to make your heads-up display really dim. Also, almost forgot to mention while I'm putting this back together, another thing that's worth taking this apart for to check for is if the numbers on your windshield look crooked or strange or skewed. This hinge over here I have seen pop out before, and that can cause problems there, as well as the spring right there. The correct way for that spring to sit, the top, the back side of it, lays up against the back of the housing. It sits around the pivot point, then the front sits in front of the glass. Now it looks like it doesn't belong on the front of the glass, but it does. I've seen people pop it to the back. That basically just makes it not do anything. It's there to provide counter pressure for this motor to be able to move the lens more easily. So just make sure that all that's there when you're putting it back together. Next thing I've got to do, I'm going to wipe this down one more time, and then I'm going to put the lens back in. And that is that as far as cleaning this up goes. It is much cleaner and should work quite a bit better. There's only one other thing that you really need to do if you're going to do this job, and that is I would highly recommend you clean and shine up this plastic piece while it's out. You will never find a better opportunity to reach all those hard to reach surfaces. Clean it and condition it before you put it back in. So all the Grand Prix parts are ready to go. I got here at 7:30 and it is now 9 o'clock. And so all the Prix parts are back in the car waiting to go in once the windshield's done, which should be somewhere later in the day. And I've already inherited my first job, and it sucks. Let me show you what that is. So this is a Dodge Neon. I had to fix the ignition switch, which I've already done. That's not that big a deal, but I have to put a heater core in it now. Anyone who's ever done one of these probably knows exactly why I'm not sounding too enthused, but basically this whole dash has to come out. And like in the video that I talked about before about people cleaning their cars before bringing them in, this, you'll notice, is covered in plastic. That's because when I went to get in it to see what I needed to do, I noticed that the seat is covered in mold. So I'm gonna have a great day. Oh, but before I get too far into that, just wanted to show you guys one thing. Holy crap. That is the freaking Planters peanut bus. What the hell? Anyway, one of the updates I did not get to show you guys before is I got new seats. The old interior in this car was trashed. It had huge cracks everywhere, and I lucked up and got these seats, which, believe it or not, are still soft. $60 at Pull Apart. So that was pretty awesome. Now let me get back in the shop. So quick update, I was doing away with some snow outside, and I checked something in my trunk and found out I had snacks. Always a plus on a work day. So another little update, I went out and yanked the wiper arms off the car because it's just the 13mm nuts on this end and these two little hoses you pull off, and they're off, and I just feel like that way they're out of his way. I can swap wiper blades while I've got it here too, and I may clean these arms up some. I'm honestly even kind of thinking about pulling the cowl before he gets here. I don't know if that's too much. I'm always a little nervous when someone else is working on my car though. That's really old plastic and I don't want him to break it. So another update, I decided to go ahead and pull the cowl off. It's right here, so I can clean that while I've got it off. And I wanted to take a look at the cabin air filter. That's a new one I just put in there because the old one was really, really dirty. A lot of these cars don't come with cabin air filter stock. I added one to this because even though they don't come with them in here, they all have the box. So it's just as easy as finding a part number, and you can add it to any W body or any second gen W bodies. So just got finished doing oxygen sensors on this truck. I'm gonna sit this down and get it out of here, and then it's gonna be lunchtime for me. Then I'm gonna clean up this for the Grand Prix. Hopefully by then we'll see Safe Flight, we'll see. Change of plans. Safe Flight just called and they're on the way, so I guess I'm not gonna eat lunch right now. We're going to wait out here and let him get started on this windshield. Check back in with you in a minute when he gets here. So, Safe Light's gone, the window is in, and it looks so much better than it did before. And I've got installed out on my last one, which is this big truck. So I'm gonna do some cleanup, and then pretty much my day is over. I will try to get some video maybe tomorrow if the video from this doesn't turn out very good. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Drop this video a like if you like this kind of vlog. Let me know what you think of this kind versus what I normally do. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.